Abiogenesis, the doctrine that living things originated from non-living matters. Acquired character, an alternation in function and form resulting from a response to environment and is not heritable. Additivity, the basics from most quantitative inheritance theory and for most breeding efforts. Affinity, the similarity between entities in regard to orphological traits. Albino, an individual characterized by the absence of pigment. Allele, an array of genes possible for certain position on a given chromosomes. Alloploidy, ploidy in which sets of chromosomes are derived from different parents, generally not closely related. Ancestry refer to those members of past generation which are related to any given species by a descent. And neoploidy, a variation on chromosomes number by whole chromosomes but less than the entire sets. Isogamy, a sexual reproduction involving gametes similar in morphology but differing in size. Artificial selection, the result of conscious breeding of plants by man for the goal of improving forest crops. Asexual reproduction, any process of reproduction that does not involve fusion of cell. Backcross breeding, a system of breeding whereby recurrent backcrosses are made to one of the parents of hybrid accompanied by selection for a specific character. Binary fission, a type of reproduction wherein a single seed organism divides into two theoretical equal parts. Biogenesis, the doctrine that living things originated only from pre-existing living things. Bisexual plant, a plant having both male and female sexual reproductive structure on one individual. Breeding arboretum refers to all selected trees or species established for breeding purposes. Character, an attribute of an organism resulting from the interaction of genes with the environment. Character displacement, the process of genetic divergence of two or more species when they come into contact. Chromatid, pertains to one of the two identical longitudinal halves of chromosomes which shares a common centromer. Chromatin, a nuclear material comprising the chromosomes, the DNA protein complex or nucleoprotein. Cline, a gradual and more or less continuous change in phenotypic character over the geographical range of a species. Clonal selection, the manner of choosing the best clones in a clonal test for further asexual propagation. Cline, a gradual and more or less continuous change in phenotypic character over the geographical range of a species. Clonal selection, the manner of choosing the best clones in a clonal test for further asexual propagation. Clone, an aggregation of individual plants produced asexual from one sexually produced individual. Conjugation, the transfer of genetic materials from one bacteria to another when two compatible cells come into contact with each other. Controlled pollination, the transfer of pollen from known source to raptive flower of known and parents. Cultivar refers to plant type within a particular cultivated species that is distinguished by one or more characters. Cytogenetics, a study of cellular structures and mechanics associated with genetics. Deoxyribonucleoside, a portion of a DNA molecule composed of one deoxyribose molecule plus either a purine or pyrimidine. Deoxyribonucleotide, a portion of a DNA molecule composed one deoxyribose phosphate bonded to either a purine or a pyrimidine. The hybrid, an individual heterozygous for two pairs of alleles or a cross between individuals differing into genes pairs. Direct selection, the manner of choosing the parent on the basis of desirability in the traits under consideration as choosing the tallest tree to improve growth rate. Dominance, the masking of the action of one allele by that of its alternative allele. Double fertilization, the process in which each of the two sperm nuclei form in the pollen tube fuses with a nuclei in the embryo sac. Duplication, a chromosomal aberration in which a segment of the chromosomes bearing a specific losses is repeated. Dysgenics in any effect of situation tends to be harmful to genetics of future generations. Li3, a tree verified by appropriate testing as highly superior or desirable for a specified environment and propagation. Emasculation, the removal of immature male structure to prevent self-pollination or unwanted cross-pollination. Epistasis, the masking of phenotypic effect of either or both members of one pair of alleles by a gene of the different pair. Eugenic, the process of tending to improve the genetic qualities of future generations. Evolution, the development of a race, species, genus, or other large group of plants or animals. Expressivity, the degree of manifestation of a genetic character. Family section, the manner of choosing parents on the basis of average family performance in a progeny test. Fitness, the relative ability of a genotype to survive and produce viable and fertile offspring. Gene, the smallest transmissible unit of genetic materials consistently associated with a single primary effect. Genecology, the study of genetical composition of a plant population in relation to the habitat. General combining ability, the ability of a parent to give superior progeny in combination with several different males. Genetics, a science which deals with cause of resemblance and differences among individuals related to descent. Gene pool, the collective term of all gene of a particular population. Genetic drift, a change or random fluctuation in gene frequency in a population. Genetic gain, an average improvement in a progeny over the mean of the parents. Genetic load, the proportional reduction of an average fitness relative to an optional genotype. Genome, a complete set of chromosomes inherited as a unit from one parent or the entire genotype of an individual. Geographic speciation, the process by which geographically is isolated population of a single species develop and maintain unique gene combination and thereby become reproductive isolated. Germplasm, a collectively hereditary material, which are the physical basis for inheritance. Heredity denotes the transmission of morphological and physiological characters of parents to the offspring. Heritability, the degree to which a character is influenced by heredity as compared to the environment. Heterosis, the state of a genotype having a large degree of heterozygosity. Heterozygote, an individual whose chromosomes bear identical genes of a given allele pair of cells. Hybrid, an individual that results from a cross between two genetically unlike parents. Independent segregation, the random or independent behavior of gene on pairs of chromosomes. Inbreed line, a population derived from inbreeding. It is relatively pure, genetically homozygous, and hence through breeding. Inbreeding, a production of relatively homozygous offspring by matrix-related organisms, usually selfing. Incompatibility, a failure or particular failure in some process leading to fertilization. Introgression, the natural spread of the genes from one species or population to another through hybridization and successive backcrossing of the hybrids. Isolation, a condition that prevents or limits breeding among population. Phonological difference in a flowering time, chromosomes difference and distance. Karyokinesis, the division of nucleus during the cell division. Kinetochore, a specialized body of chromosomes which seems to direct its movement, also known as centromere. Lethal gene, a gene whose phenotypic effect is sufficiently drastic to kill the bearer. Life cycle, the entire series of developmental stages undergone. Locus, the position or place on a chromosome occupied by a particular gene or one of its alleles. Messenger RNA, a ribonucleic acid conferring amino acids, especially on ribosomes. Monohybrid, the offspring of two homozygous parents that different in only one gene locus. Mutation, a sudden change in genotype having no relation to the individual's ancestry. Narrow, sense heritability, the fraction of total variation attributed to the additive effects of gene. Ontogeny, the complete development of the individual from zygote, spore, and so on to adult form. Open pollination, a natural pollination effect by wind or insects and not directly influenced by man. Pedigree, the appearance or discernible character of an individual, which is dependent on its genetic makeup, usually expressed in words. Phylogeny, the evolutionary development of species or other taxonomic group. Phylogeny refers to or more different pairs of alleles presumed to have cumulative effects that govern quantitative traits or size, pigmentation, intelligence, among others. Polyploid, an individual having more than two complete sets of chromosomes. Phylogeny, an offspring of particular mating or a particular mate in the case of apotemic reproduction. Progeny, progeny test through evaluation of parents by assessing the performance of their offspring. Provenance, the original geographic source of seeds, pollens, or propagules. Ramete, an individual members of clone. Recessive gene, a member of a pair of genes that fails to express itself in presence of its dominant allele. Recombination, an association arising from independent assortment of unlike genes from crossing over between link genes from interostomic crossing over. Replication, the mechanism by which exact copies of the genetic material are formed. Reviewing, a systematic removal of individual not desired for the reputation of population. Sex chromosome, a heteropomic that does not occur in identical pairs in both sexes in diploid organism. Sibling, an individual with the same material and parental parents. Testocross, the cross an individual with one having the recessive phenotype. Totipotency, the property of a cell whereby it develops into a complete of different organisms. Transcription, a synthesis of messenger RNA from a DNA template. Translation, the process by which a particular messenger RNA nucleotide sequence is responsible for a specific amino acid residue to sequence of a polypeptide chain. Zygote, the protoplast resulting from the fusion of two gametes in sexual reproduction.